Okay, so hello everyone, hello friends. I am now going to be joined by my son, Sevi, who is actually in the US right now, particularly in New York. So he is studying in New York. And as we're doing this interview, it's actually noon and it's almost midnight over at at his place. So, Seb, would you like to say hi to our friends, those who are watching our video today?
Hello to those who are watching right now. Hello, friends, and hello to mommy fans and everyone over there. I hope that you're listening. I know that's going to be fun, and thank you very much, mom, for inviting me to this. I'm really
Mhm.
excited for this talk, for this chat.
I know. Actually, this is the first time we're going to do this, but I thought of coming up with this interview of sorts because since we sort of announced and shared it on social media that Sevi was able to, was got accepted in his university abroad. Some people started asking him, right, Sev, and even me as well.
Yes.
I got messages on how he did it and how is it like and all that. So I decided maybe it would be good to actually do this in an interview type of a format, and maybe it's a chance also for your friends and my friends and those of us who subscribe to our channel to actually find out how it was like for you from the start. And of course, I think much more interesting would be how life is like now there, living on your own and all that, right? So it's just going to be a very casual chat we're going to have here. So, all right, so let's begin.
Ready, ready.
Seb, maybe for the sake of the information of our viewers, would you like to share how was it like for you? I mean, the process. Did you always have that in mind that you wanted to study away? I mean, abroad. Um, since when did you have that in mind, and how was the process like for you?
Well, in high school, it was when I realized that studying abroad from the Philippines is
Mhm.
possible. The experiences that they have and the opportunities are just really there and very available.
Mhm.
And so by high school, that's when I realized that, I think my life is out there. My life is in a different country. There's so many opportunities for me to seize. And I guess it was that in high school that I really wanted. My drive for studying abroad was
Mhm.
really amped up, and that's when I really wanted to go and study abroad. But all
Mhm.
my life, I really did picture myself in another country. It wasn't really a specific country,
Mhm.
though the US was in my mind for quite a while now. When
Mhm.
I was a kid, the US, I remember my dad, our dad, yeah, dad. I
Dad,
remember
yeah.
dad showing a picture of Target and saying to me when I was a really young boy
Mhm.
that this is a store and they sell so many stuff here. You can buy toys here, anything that's
Mhm.
interesting, and I will bring you there one day. And that was pretty much a little dream of mine to really go there to Target and to really go to the US. And so I guess I finally achieved that dream by going to Target. I actually shopped with him before he
Mhm.
left to go back to the
Yeah,
Philippines. So
yeah.
it was pretty much in my head for quite some time when I was, a really, really small child.
Yeah, so that's interesting how it's coming full circle for you with regards to that dream.
With that
Okay,
story, yes.
yeah, let's go to the specific part of it. So of course you maybe some of our friends know that you're actually on your sophomore year now in the university in New York, right? But you studied you had your first year of college here in the Philippines.
So for those who are watching right now, I am a transfer sophomore from the Ateneo de Manila University, and I moved to Fordham University for the remaining years of my college. Though, and to answer your question, Mom, I was actually really planning to study abroad. I did apply to a couple of other schools, and I was eyeing some other good schools too, some good Catholic schools also. But during that time, during that application process, I did apply to three schools in the Philippines. I applied to University of Santo Tomas. I applied to University of the Philippines,
Mhm.
and I also applied to UANP, University of Asia and the Pacific,
Which is
and
my alma mater.
which is mom,
Yeah.
yeah, mom's alma mater. And aside from that, I also decided to look at schools outside of the country,
Mhm.
and I did apply to other schools. St. Louis University is one of them,
Mhm.
and I was actually going to take the SAT test in the British School Manila, which is one of the branches where you can take it. However, COVID did strike at that time, and then all lockdown commenced, and I wasn't able to take my SAT tests. So I was really going to go abroad for my freshman year, but because of the COVID-19 lockdown, I wasn't able to. So I did spend my first freshman year in Ateneo in an
Mhm.
online setup, which was a completely different setup to what it is now because everything is physical classes. So
Yes.
it's a different shift to and a
Yeah.
different environment of learning. And so I get
Mhm.
to see both ways between the online and the physical setup. So it's been a
Mhm.
pretty wild ride from there.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's pretty much the same experience for a lot of students for the past 2 years. I guess they're all really online, but well, at least last year. But now, of course, in the U.S. they're more open. So I guess you have a lot more interaction now with typically how a university or class is, a college class is, which is back in the classroom and doing your usual stuff, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
physically this time, face to face. Okay. So this time around, or this probably last year, that's when you took the test, or how was it? Can you walk us through when you decided to actually do the application process, so that for those who are interested to consider it for the next year, for those who are considering, I think, transferring or really moving there for college, let's go through the process that you did.
Of course. So during my last year in high school, I did sign up for the newsletter for
Mhm.
email updates for schools abroad. And one of them was Fordham University. And so I would receive regular updates from Fordham University about applications being open for spring 2021, for fall 2021, that sort of stuff. And so I did put that aside for my freshman year since I was just focusing on the Ateneo, on Ateneo in general. But then come April of that year, of my freshman year, I received an email from Fordham saying that they were accepting transfer applicants for fall 2021. So that means it starts at September 1. And so from that email, that really brought up my drive again to really study abroad. And so I applied right away. I registered. I made my own account in the Common Application, which is
Mhm.
where a lot of the students. It's a website for all the universities in the U.S. So
Mhm.
basically, you can create your own student profile, and then answer the required documents and submit the required documents to the university that you're applying to. So
Okay.
it's a very simple process. It's a
Mhm.
way organized, and that's why Common App is really efficient because
Mhm.
everything is already there. All the
Okay.
universities are there. You just need to submit your documents.
The
So
documents, what documents did they need? And for you, what
so
were the documents you submitted?
the documents that you really need are academic transcripts. So you
Mm.
have to submit, as a transfer student, I had to submit my midterm grades. So that's in the middle
Mhm.
of the year of my
Mhm.
freshman year. I had
Mhm.
to submit my grades of my courses that I was taking. And how I did that was I had to individually email the professors to ask for my progress report and my academic report. So how I'm
Mhm.
doing academically, and submit it straight into the institution, the Fordham institution.
Mhm.
So it was actually quite a I did have a lot of back and forth emails between my professors and between the Fordham institution that receives
Okay.
the emails, that receives the documents. So it was a
Mhm.
lot of communication and a lot of emailing back and forth. But basically, you also have to ask the registrar of your high school
Mhm.
to get, for me, it was Ateneo High School, to
Mhm.
get the academic transcript of your last few years in high school. So that's from grade 8 to grade 12. That's what I had to give.
Okay.
And those transcripts I had to ask from the registrar, office of the registrar of the high school that I studied in.
Mhm.
And then that high school has to submit it from that institution to the other institution, which was Fordham University. So
Via
I
email.
can't submit it myself via email
Yeah.
because I
Okay.
can't submit it myself
Okay.
because Fordham wouldn't recognize it as official. So it has to
Yes.
come from the institution that I came from.
That's true. I
So
think that's a critical information for those who are considering applying. Do have official documents sent by your school. Many schools do that. So you can actually ask schools to send it directly. Some they ask it to be sent to the university you're applying to via snail mail or hard copy. But it's good in this case that they accepted an email,
that's true.
email documents or soft copy of the documents you have. So that was
That's
good.
true. So it's a bit of a quite a number of things that you need to submit, but
Yeah.
I can actually just number it down. It can be the high school transcripts,
Mm-hmm.
the college transcripts,
Okay.
and you also need to submit your health forms.
Okay, so it's all there. So pretty much you just have to follow, right?
It's all there.
Yeah.
It's all in the common application and it's on the university website.
Okay, so great. So when you started the application, let's talk about timelines. When you started the application, how long did it actually take till you got word about it? I just remember the time that we actually received the email and how we were so excited receiving that email from Fordham. But how long was the process like for you?
So that was actually a crazy experience.
Yeah.
I did receive about the application process being open before Christmas. That's what I remember.
Mhm.
And then after Christmas, so after the holidays and after the holiday break,
Mhm.
that's when I started asking for the documents to be submitted and to clarify with the dean who handles the documents about what I really need specifically. So there was a lot of communication with the dean of Fordham about what I needed to do, what I
Yeah.
needed to submit, and
Mhm.
more clarification purposes about travel documents.
So essentially, let's talk about maybe January to April. April is when you actually got your acceptance letter or email, right, from Fordham. So really, it was quite quick. I think I'd say probably about from the time you applied, 6 months to the time that you received your acceptance email. How is it like for you? I can actually just put in that video and insert it when we receive the news of your acceptance. But
Crazy.
walk us through that experience. Waiting. Of course, I was there, but for the sake of our audience, you got an alert that you were going to be sent an email. Tell us about that special, exciting moment.
I was actually pretty anxious because I really have high expectations for myself and for the schools abroad because I know that there's, as I said before, the academic system, the education system is very different in the US. And many people from, especially in this country, really want to go out there to really maximize their learning experiences
Yeah.
and to also seize those opportunities for them because there's so many, it's a lot of opportunities out there. I did doubt myself for a bit if I would get in.
Yeah.
There was that anxiety there and that fear that, oh, what if I don't make it? What will you say? Like, how will you react to that? I know you will
Yeah.
support me, of course, in
Mhm.
whatever happens, but of course that's it would be amazing if it passed and
Yeah.
I will make you proud. So come
Okay.
April, when I received that email, I actually received it as soon as I woke up. So my phone was beside my bed, and then I did my notifications were on. And so I heard a sound. And when I woke up, checked my phone, first thing I see in my notifications was your application results are now here. And first thing I did was, well, my heart started pumping so much. I could already feel I was very apprehensive,
Yeah.
excited, and also scared. And so I rushed downstairs because my room's on the third floor. So I rushed downstairs to try and find you and to try and find dad
Mhm.
and tell them that the results are out. And so I saw you in the study room. I saw you in the study room, and you were having, I think you were having a chat over some coffee. And then I
Mhm.
opened the door. I just burst it open and I said, "Mom, Dad, the results are out." And my heart was pumping so much. It was,
Mhm.
it was crazy. It was really crazy. And so I think that's when I opened it. I was very, like, my hands were sweating. And
Mhm.
then when I received it, when I opened the email, it said that I got in. I got
Yeah.
accepted with scholarship
Wow.
and with housing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
we can include the video here, but yeah,
Mhm.
you can see my candid, my original, very authentic reaction
Yeah.
to how I got in. It was my first time applying abroad, and I
Mhm.
got in, which was really
Yeah.
amazing. And so
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm
Yeah.
grateful.
Actually, what a really exhilarating experience, I guess it must be for you. And the same it was for us also. It was we felt like we were the one being accepted as well in the university that we wanted to get into. Okay, so a few let's go a little bit after the acceptance. Of course, we were still, in cloud nine, as they say, over the next couple of days. Finally, we needed to settle a few more things, right? There were things that we still need to comply, some of which were your health records, and of course, having gone through cancer, there were some vaccinations that you couldn't actually take, and then we had to talk to your attending physician, then Dr. Edwin. Hello, Dr. Edwin, who actually was kind enough to help us write some sort of certificate just to assure that, for the sake of our audience, if you were actually a cancer patient, we had to stop giving Seb vaccinations as well as his siblings because of he was immunocompromised when he was 3 at that time, and that meant giving live vaccines to him or to his siblings would put him at risk of actually contracting the exact illness or disease that we were trying to prevent. So, in order to stop doing that, we had to really stop the vaccines for the siblings at that time. So, okay, so that was April. Of course, we had a few more months, maybe 3, 4 months before you actually, you know, decided to leave. And we hopped on the plane with dad and, take
Yes.
that. Yeah. But before that, of course, you had to apply for your US visa. And that was also a bit exciting for us because although you had the documents from the school, it was also challenging, of course, at this time, the pandemic, exactly how receptive are they towards accepting students from abroad, right, from other countries. And at that time, you were not actually vaccinated yet. So, okay, so finally booking the flight, and you were off to the US in August, on August 18th or
August
17th.
18th.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, of course, here it is, it's happening. And then finally, a few hours after that, you landed in the US, and you, for the first time, it's actually Sevi's first time to go to the US, right? He's been to Europe before, but of course, but this is more like your dream coming true.
It hit me very late. So during that 6-hour flight to Japan, that's when I realized, hold on, I'm going to school abroad. I got accepted abroad. And then that time my dad was asleep. So I was like looking around. I was like, wait, I can't just go back, right? I'm on the plane. I'm going to Japan. When I did arrive in the US, it was New York specifically. It was just as I expected. The hustle and bustle of the city, though it did have some quite some surprises.
Mhm.
Like, I did remember sending you a letter, Mom, about my observations of New York as soon as I landed. And
Yeah.
basically, one of the observations was that it's a very, very active city. And I
Mhm.
think I know why it's called the city that never sleeps.
Mhm.
And so it was very noisy, and it was very active. Everyone was running around, walking around, going to where they needed to go.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very diverse place. So I
Mhm.
didn't just hear people speaking English, I heard people speaking Spanish, and
Mm.
maybe a bit of French on the side. And of
Mhm.
course, there was Chinese people there who were a lot of Asians were there. They were
Mhm.
speaking Chinese and their own languages, and so it was New York was a very very diverse place, and I just I couldn't speak. I was really shocked. I just
Mhm.
was observing everything as it went by.
Yeah, it's sort of like something was just downloaded on you. It was such a,
It was a like if that was the case, it was a big
yeah,
file that was downloaded.
yeah, exactly. And then you
A
had
lot to
to like,
process.
yeah, process and take it in sort of smaller chunks, and of course, do going about it through your day to day and all that.
Mhm.
Okay, so all right, so that was September. Fast forward to now November, and you've been in the U.S. and in Fordham for 2 months already.
Mhm.
No, actually, more a little bit over that, but school had started in September, so you're actually already in your second month there. Tell us about how's it like for you now. Of course, Dad had to leave a month after he dropped you off, right? So you're really this is the true test now that you're actually on your own. There was no mom, there's no dad. Your aunts, dad's sisters were many hours away. Of course, two of them are in the US. Hi, Marley, hi, Malu, but they're far, far away from you. So, how did how did you embrace that idea of independence now?
I guess I do have a confession to make. When I was still living back in the Philippines, I did have many projections of how I would live independently.
Mhm,
And I did imagine that so many times, like I would live this type of life. I would live
mhm,
independently. And then I guess it finally turned into reality living independently in a different country. I mean, it would have
mhm,
been easier if I lived independently in the same country, but this is a different one with a
mhm,
completely different culture. And I guess also it was more of how I budget my time, my finances, my resources, and overall trying to maintain a healthy, healthy body. So it was a lot of managing all of that, a lot of controlling what you spend on and how you really your the friends that you hang out with. It's really a lot of decision making on your own part, and you have much more control over
mhm,
your decisions now that I'm living independently.
mhm.
But you begin to realize the consequences of your decisions that you make. In fact, it's more immediate. If you keep
Yes.
saying yes and yes and yes to your
Yeah.
friends, you begin
Mhm,
to realize that all of these promises that you're making start to pile up.
mhm.
And I'm still learning that. I actually just came from the gym, then I came from soccer, then I came from class. So I didn't say yes
Mhm,
to many things. I still have to learn how to say no to a couple things
mhm,
to manage my energy too and my time. But you do begin to realize consequences of decisions that you make and that how much impact it can make to yourself and
mhm.
to the friends and to the communities around you. So it's a lot of budgeting and it's a lot of thinking about what will happen if I do this, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
adulting is pretty difficult, but it's a very, very it's a good process to mature
Yeah.
yours to mature and really develop yourself personally.
Yeah. Tell me, what was the most challenging thing about adulting now for you? Was it cooking? Was it budgeting your money?
I
Yeah.
guess I am not the best cook, and I've had some mistakes in the kitchen once or
Mhm,
twice.
mhm,
So I guess I wouldn't say that's my hardest problem because my most difficult challenge was budgeting my money because
mhm.
I do love spending. Mom and dad knows this. I love clothes. I love spending in clothes and things I don't really need. And so
Mhm,
when I do need to budget my money. That makes me realize what do I really need and what do I want. And so it forces me to really divide what I really need and what I really want. And it makes me prioritize what I need. And so now that it's winter, I do need things that can warm me up. And so I should
Mhm.
focus on that rather than get like the latest design of a t-shirt or something like that, because I won't be wearing t-shirts out in the winter. So
Yeah.
it is about budgeting which
Mhm.
money and the resources you can spend. So I do have to work within a budget, and so it makes
Mhm.
me make smart financial decisions given
Mhm.
the budget that I have. Because obviously I wouldn't want to be walking around with no money, and that wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to sustain myself for the next few days if I don't
Yeah.
have money. And
Yeah.
I guess the next challenge is cooking, because I do have to cook on my own now. I do
Yeah.
have a meal plan that is optional, that
Mhm.
it's an optional meal plan since I live
Mhm.
off campus.
Mhm.
But without the meal plan, I would be called to really make my own meals. And
Yes.
I still do make my own meals. I still cook my dinner and my breakfast.
Mhm.
And it makes me it planning it is really, it gets a bit tiring, but if you know what you need
Yeah.
and what you want also, it helps. So I do have some eggs in the morning with a
Mhm.
good cup of like, a hot drink, maybe
Mhm.
some oatmeal, some cereal, which is
Yeah.
typical breakfast that we have, mom, in the
Yeah.
back
At
then.
home. Yeah.
And yeah, and for dinner too.
Mhm.
I do also try to get healthy options. So
Yes.
some salads, some greens, and then some good
Yes.
meat, some white meat, and rice.
That's
And I love
that's
rice. I
very
miss rice
important.
actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, I think that's one of the things you will miss when you're abroad. But I think the availability of these things are, it's not as rare as we actually think. We
Mhm.
think of it as just a matter of looking for these. And I think you're lucky enough to have a foster family in a way there, like at least on weekends, right? You can actually enjoy going on weekends and enjoy the Filipino food that you used to have here and you would crave for every now and then. So
That's true. They're godsend.
yeah, that's true.
I'm
Okay.
really grateful that apparently I do have some Filipino friends that my dad knows that
Mhm.
lives in the Bronx, and so it's just really good that they were nearby, and so they helped me out, and they've been very welcoming, very caring of me, and so
We are
to
so thankful
Tito
for them.
Gilbert and Tita Janet over there, thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yeah,
I love
that's
you so
good.
much.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay. So, what would perhaps if there's anything that you are really learning right now, or that you have in the span of 2 months that you've been on your own, something that you uncovered about yourself and that you're learning to deal with.
That's a very good question, because now that I'm living alone, I'm more aware of my own identity, my own values, my own beliefs, and I find myself claiming trying to really hold on to my roots and how I grew up under this family. And so, as I live here alone, living independently in a different country that's very culturally diverse,
Mhm.
I find that I am challenged to really maintain true to my own identity, to who I really am.
Mhm.
And as a Catholic person, there are certain practices that I do that I have to, like going to mass every Sunday. I
Mhm.
still do that, and so there are also temptations, I guess, that okay, maybe can go to a later time for mass, or maybe not go, but and then that's when your conscience kicks in and your values and beliefs. And I guess for me, the most difficult challenge, I guess, and the learning that I realize is that I am a unique person with my own beliefs and values, and I'm just one of many different people that have different sets of beliefs, and you just have to respect that. At the same time, maintain true to your own identity and maintain true to your own roots.
Mhm.
And I've been trying to really stay strong in those values,
Yeah.
because you wouldn't want to be lost in your own way,
Yeah.
especially when you're 8,491 miles away in a different country. You
Mhm.
wouldn't want to be lost in your own way and find a bad group of friends who would just even worsen your habits and worsen your whole being. And so
Yeah.
it's important that you maintain true to yourself and true to
Mhm.
your friends, to the new people that you will meet eventually. It's
Mm.
important that you cling on to your own beliefs and to your
Yeah.
own values.
I think I'd like to bring back what you said earlier, Seb, to just to wrap it all up in a full circle. By you saying earlier that you have a more direct impact. I mean, the consequences of your decisions are more, more instant in a way, and in a way more direct to you because you are actually now, the holder of your decisions, and you see that um, I usually like saying this to you before. It's how you live your life. You're the one who lives your life, right? And no one else will live it for you. So you can choose either to throw it away, or really make good decisions as best as you can. Of course, mistakes are always there. That's actually how we learn, and that's how we grow as a person, with the mistakes that we make. But really taking stock of your life and taking control and making sure that you live your life in the best way as possible. And that's something that I think you are experiencing now with what you've shared with us today, right?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And I guess also the best insight I've learned is that we live in a world where opportunities are ripe, and it's just about us trying to seize it. It all starts with us, in fact. And everything that you do, for every initiative, for every action that you take,
Mhm.
it will lead you somewhere, wherever that may be. And it's just a matter of having an open mind. For me, I had no clue of what to expect going to the US. In fact, it was pretty much a leap of faith. I didn't know what to
Mhm.
expect there. And
Mhm.
even to you, mom, and to dad, we really didn't know what to expect for me.
That's
And
true.
I guess, that now that I'm leaving the nest, it would have been very difficult to not see me in the dinner table as much anymore. I
Mhm.
guess, for a long time, I'm not there incomplete in the dinner table. But
Yeah.
I guess it's a leap of faith when you make big decisions.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of having an open mind and being positive about it. It's really important that you be positive and optimistic, because in the end, whatever decision that you make, if it can be a bad one, it can be a good one, you learn from it. In fact, a quote that I have that my best friend, that a close friend of mine would actually told me is that you either win or you learn. There is no losing, because
Mhm.
for every mistake that you make, you learn
Mhm.
from it. And so that's just as important as winning. And I guess that's how I'm here right now. I make these decisions, and what can I say? I'm actually enjoying it. I'm really
Mhm.
enjoying it to the fullest.
I'm happy to hear that. That is so encouraging, for you, for me and Dad over here, who's far away from you. Okay, so wow, really enlightening words for our audience today, and our viewers today. Also, I'm so happy to hear those inspiring, quotes from you as well, and glad to know that you, Seb, are making each day count and making each day, living each day to the fullest. Any last words you'd like to tell our viewers, about your experience, about what you feel like, you'd like to pass on to them who might be considering studying abroad as well and living on their
Oh, I
own?
tell this to many of my friends, and to the viewers over here: stay true to yourself and seize the day. I'm telling you, you might regret it in the future if you don't seize it right now. So I'm telling you, stay true to yourself and seize the day. You will enjoy it. Trust
Carpe
me.
diem, yeah. All
Carpe diem.
right.
Carpe diem.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Seb. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know it should be past your bedtime already, but I'm just so happy to really have this chat
Thank
with
you for
you.
having me, Mom.
Yeah, of course. And then for my subscribers and for those who are just maybe coming across this channel for the first time, do subscribe. Don't forget. I'm hoping to come out with more regular content and another interview, this time with my daughter, who is homeschooled and also in college now. But we will actually learn from her perspective as well. So about coming into moving into college from being homeschooled. So watch out for that. And again, thank you so much, Seth, for spending the time. And I know you should be resting already, but it's the weekend, so I hope you.
I'll enjoy the weekend.
I hope you enjoy and you
I'm
take
planning
it
on
back.
ice skating soon.
Oh, great! And also to make sure that you rest. Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you, and catch you again in the next video. Bye.